I'm sitting here doing my morning pages, and I haven't done morning pages in a very long time, and I didn't even set out to do this. I just have been going very slow this morning, intentionally, and taking my time with like the getting ready of things, which I haven't been doing lately. I've been doing my makeup, getting dressed, putting my hair together, doing other self-care activities. I've been doing those kind of like as I remember or can, and I haven't been like frustrated with myself for that. I've just let it happen, but I didn't really think I noticed it either until today. And so I went to do these morning pages, and I started writing, and I realized I wanted to write in cursive. And as I started to write in cursive, I remembered how hard it was. And I am an artistic, want to do good in school, smart girl. So that means that in school, anytime I could like achieve something, I would try really hard. And having good handwriting was something that I really cared a lot about. And I realized, I think it's dyspraxia or dysgraphia, but I realized recently that I have like a disability when it comes to writing on paper and communicating through writing. And I could see how if part of me felt like the purpose of me writing anything was to make it look good, then the part of me that actually had things to say wouldn't know where to like fit that in. And I think it's problematic that we push like writing physically in the ways that we do as a like educational system. I'm really grateful for computers. When we started having computers in school and we got to do the typing, I got very good at that very fast. And I remember like some of my favorite memories growing up was being on AIM or like communicating, and like the faster you got at typing, the faster you could get your thoughts out. As I've gone through this period recently, I realized that I need to say words out loud to communicate to myself. So journals have always been a like sore spot for me because I really wanted to keep one and I really liked the idea of it, but it was never possible for me. Like I would start it and stop it, and now I see that that was me hitting a wall and feeling like I didn't know how to use this for me if I had two separate like goals in mind. But speaking like this and making videos and brain dumps, like this is where it all comes together for me. And I think that because of TikTok's casual like style, it's made it possible for me to consider this an option for myself. And I have considered it. I've done a lot of this in the past year. I've done like so many videos, majority I've not posted. And they were meant for me to get it out, but also to have like a record. And once I realized that the record keeping part of it was important to me, I started to use the voice recorder, which would create a transcript. And once I realized that I would not want to look at a transcript of like a big block of text of what I said, I wouldn't ever want to look at that. I realized that that needed to be processed further. So that's when I started using ChatGPT to like summarize in like note taking form, almost like it was listening to a lecture. And at some point, I realized that I was not doing a good job of like organizing that or like having a place for that to consistently go. It's like the modes with which I would get out my thoughts and ideas have been super varied. Notes app, Google Docs, a Google Doc with like like multiple tabs for like specific types of things. And it's funny because in elementary school, one summer I went to a summer camp where we learned, like it was a calligraphy camp. It was a calligraphy camp I took or class, and a creative writing class, as well as a detective class. And I really liked all three of them. I loved learning. And so a lot of these things that I'm finding out about myself, because I'm late diagnosed autistic, ADHD, are just like pointing me to parts of my past where reality was like happening inside of me, but I didn't have a language or anyone around me, because most people aren't this way, or we didn't have this language back then, to get it out and for me to know myself, because it was just all here and it was out of my view. But there was such a like rich inner world in me that felt so epic and massive that, I mean, at a certain point I could see why it was much better for me to survive, to ignore it, and to find ways to numb my entire body and sense of self. Yeah. I think that this is the beginning of a really beautiful experience for our entire society as a whole. And I think that what's happening makes sense. It feels like it's really awful, and it's felt that way for a long time. And it's felt like I felt incredibly helpless as like a single human who can't even like get dressed and do her makeup every single day. But I understand now that those are expectations and standards that are no longer applicable to us. And so as I healed, at first when I started feeling things, like it all started feeling, and it was really horrible. It was really scary and sad, and it hurt a lot. But as I've been moving through that and like spending time with my body, spending time with my past self, and just letting myself be how I want to be, even if it hurts sometimes, it's like my life has opened up in really crazy, beautiful ways that are still scary and terrifying, because I don't know what to expect still. And I think that's what's happening with everyone. I think we're all doing it in our own messy and trying to be private about it ways, because so much of what's happening for us is like the epitome of what we were taught to be ashamed of. So we're just deconditioning ourselves, but it's super fucking painful. I'm glad that I went here and started talking instead of continuing to try to write in this. I'm glad that this is the time that I live in. I think things are going to get better. And I think the way that it happens is going to be actually pretty magical and epic. Have a good day. I hope you like my unmasked self.